My girlfriend, 21 female, cheated on me, 23 male, with my father, 54 male. Do I cut my dad off or try to forgive him? We have been together for over a year. My girlfriend and father last week sat me down to tell me they had a week-long affair a couple months ago. They only slept together 3 times, they said, and after the 3rd time they say they both felt extremely guilty and mortified at their actions. They've been wanting to tell me since then but didn't have the hearts. I always knew they got on well, they bonded over many shared interests, but I never saw this coming. I feel completely sick. I have hardly eaten anything since they told me. I haven't officially broken up with her yet, but it is obvious as I haven't responded to any of the texts/calls she's sent. When they first told me and after it had sunk in, I left and haven't said a word to anyone outside of work since. I've been a total ghost to my whole family and friend group. My dad and I are very close. For my whole life, I have looked up to him. He and my mom divorced when I was a teenager, but they have been very friendly to each other, which made the process so much easier. I want to forgive my dad. But if my girlfriend had cheated on me with another person, I would easily cut them both off. And in a weird way, my dad has hurt me so much more by doing this than she has. I could get over a cheating girlfriend. But my relationship with my father, a relationship I cherished, is destroyed. And it's his fault. My question is this: should I forgive my father? How can I forgive him? Should I tell my mom or brother? Would I be cruel for completely cutting him off, which is what my heart is telling me to do? TLDR. My girlfriend and dad slept together 3 times and felt so bad they told me. I have received several PMs asking me for an update. A bit has happened since then, but I will try to be brief to avoid a wall of boring text. So I told my mom and brother as everyone suggested. My mom was heartbroken, and we talked for a few hours. She told me she was not surprised. When they were married, she suspected him of having inappropriate contact with students. My dad is a handsome man, and she told me many girls would give him that kind of attention. She did not know if he was unfaithful for certain though. My brother took it as I expected. He blamed my ex and told me I should date less slutty women. I feel like this is missing the point, but whatever. I can't stand that guy anyway. For the following week after I dumped my ex, she would call and text me a lot. The gist was basically she loved me and I should forgive her because she made a mistake but hates herself for it. She told me it was just sex and that she wanted to fulfill her fantasy of sleeping with an older male teacher before we got married. I didn't respond to any of these messages or return her calls. I hadn't heard from my dad until a few days ago when he came by to reconcile. He let himself in as he has a key and we talked. He told me about how the affair started with them flirting a little. Eventually they did it. He said while they slept together 3 times, only the last time where the actual penetration happened. The first 2 she just blew him apparently and he fingered her. He told me this like I was going to be relieved they only did it once. In reality, I was horrified that now a detailed picture was in my mind. I asked him if he had been in contact with my ex. He said yes and that they have had dinner a few times as friends because he was worried about her. According to my ex, I was emotionally torturing her, and my dad believes he is responsible for her. I told him I would not have a relationship with him ever if he kept in contact with her. He said I was his son and that he would be in my life regardless. I just held my tongue. He then told me it was shitty to tell my mom and brother like I was trying to ruin his reputation. I was done, so I just nodded and apologized. I know that was cowardly, but I didn't want an argument. That was a few days ago. I haven't told anyone else other than my immediate family. I still don't know whether to totally cut contact with my dad. Part of me does, part of me doesn't. TLDR. Told my family, broke up with my girlfriend, dad came over to reconcile. I still don't know what to do. Edit. People are concerned with me apologizing. I do not actually feel remorse. I told him that because it is what he wanted to hear and I wanted him to leave. At that point I was just nodding along to avoid an argument and him potentially staying longer. Also I should have asked for the key, but as someone said here, it is difficult for me to face him, so I admit I wasn't thinking straight. My 25 male girlfriend, 22 female, has slept with my dad, 52 male. I guess the title is self-explanatory, but I really don't know what to do right now because my parents have been married since they were both 18 years old, and my mom really loves him and she would be heartbroken if I told her what happened. Long story short, me and my girlfriend had been together for 2 years now and it seemed everything was perfect and going in the right direction. She had just recently graduated and we moved in together. 2 weeks ago from now, she told me that our sex life was getting boring and told me previously she has a thing for way older men, but I guess I just brushed it off my mind because since she's with me, I trusted her and believed that she loved me. So, my dad is a lawyer and my girlfriend got her driver's license revoked recently and my dad decided to help us with this case in court in order to get back her license. So far everything was fine, and since I work I couldn't always be present whenever my dad needed to talk to us in person, so my girlfriend started going to his office, which is about 15 minutes from where we live. Last week she got home pretty late, around 3 a.m., and she smelled exactly like my dad's cologne and she came back in a whole different outfit than the one she left the house in, plus she's drunk, and me being completely impulsive I asked her where she was, and she just told me she went to meet her girlfriend after she had talked with my dad. She just gave me a quick reply and went to take a shower, and left her purse in the living room, so since I was already suspicious about the whole situation, I reached for her purse and saw condoms there, which we don't even use for a long time now. Not only that, I took a look at her phone, we know each other's passwords, and she has been sending dirty pictures to my dad's phone. After she got out of the shower, I confronted her about everything and she flat out told me that she was gonna tell me sooner or later but didn't feel ready, and that it had been stronger than her, to resist an older man, LOL, and that she didn't feel the same for me anymore. My mom knows nothing about this, and I have no clue what to do, because both of them are bad people. And my mom has basically wasted her life married to a douchebag who has no respect for her, and honestly, I doubt my ex-girlfriend was the only woman he slept with during their 34 years of marriage. What should I do? Tell my mom? Let her leave in ignorance? Legit got no idea what to do. Update. I told my mom about it and showed her couple of messages I managed to screenshot, and she is going for the divorce, and as of right now, she will be staying at my aunt's house because she refuses to stay in the same house as my dad. To those of you telling me to break up with my GF, I have obviously done that the moment I found out about it, and blocked her from every social media and her number. My mom's family and I will be helping her through all of this process and make sure she gets to keep the house and make my dad go live elsewhere. Thank you all for the replies and the support some of you showed me in private messages. My 25 male wife, 22 female, cheated on me with my father, 52. My family and I have always been close. I've had a really good relationship with my parents, especially my dad. He's always been supportive of me, especially when I got my girlfriend at the time, now wife, pregnant when she was 17 and I was 20. He would help with shelter, food, clothing and other basic needs. We lived with him and my bedridden disabled mom for the first few years of my daughter's life while I worked and saved money for our own place. So my wife would often be home alone with our daughter and my mom. My dad would work 12-hour or longer shifts from early morning to late evening. I started working night shifts to earn more money about a year into this. After a few months I noticed that my wife and dad were getting very close with each other. They joked around a lot and hung out. I didn't think much of it other than great, they're friends, and left it at that. After a couple of years doing graveyard, I had finally saved enough money for a down payment on a house and was making enough to support our family on our own. We moved out. My wife insisted that she would visit my parents almost daily. I was fine with this as my daughter's grandparents were an important part of her life. Fast forward a couple of more years and I get to work one night. After a couple of hours, the floor manager sends some people home because we all had been working lots of overtime and wanted to save on overtime pay. One was me. I'm excited because I get to spend time with my family. It was about my daughter's bedtime, so I didn't call ahead to let my wife know the good news. I get to my parents' house and go inside. It's dark, so I assume everyone is asleep. I walk through the kitchen, the main entrance, and into the living room, and that's where I find my wife and father embraced with each other. After a few minutes of what the hell, I leave. My wife tries to call me but I couldn't talk to her. The next day she comes home and we talk. Says she was just lonely at nights because I worked all of the time and my dad was there to help her. I have no idea what to say or think. The two people that I loved more than anything, other than my daughter, had betrayed me. I took some time off of work and kept my daughter with me while my wife stayed at my parents'. My dad has tried to call me but I can't talk to him. I have no idea if my mom knows, probably not. I have no idea what to do. I'm assuming a divorce, but what about my relationship with dad? I'm guessing that's ruined forever. We confirmed my dad has been cheating on my mom with my brothers. I've just been struggling with this the past few days. I've never posted here before, though I've been aware my dad has cheated in the past. It's just this most recent transgression has truly turned my family upside down. My parents have been together for over 30 years. 2 years ago, my dad admitted he was never faithful to my mom. My mom stayed with him for our sake, but my father has cheated again now. Here's the kicker, it's with my older brother's 30, ex-girlfriend. Before this happened, before their affair started, my parents nearly separated but decided to try to work things out. My dad's way of sorting things out was by getting with my brother's ex. We've had our suspicions for a while. She's a tenant in an apartment he is subletting, and she texted him a few months ago blatantly saying she wants to be in bed with him. My mom was the one who saw the text first. They tried to play it off as an accident, but that's kinda hard to come back from. He has since deleted that text from his phone, as he has every text he has sent to / received from her. The other day, my mom confirmed it. She saw the texts on his phone that he forgot to delete that included his pet name for her and him telling her he loves her. My mom confronted him, and he admitted to it. He also admitted to it on a phone call with the girl, who my mom called immediately after. Her only response was, "Why did you tell her?" And she told my mom to talk to my dad about it. My dad is now trying to deny it, even though he said several vile things that further confirmed it, which he's now trying to pretend he never said. Now his story is he has been chasing after her and she has been refusing his advances. Mind, the girl has never denied it. My mom has stuck with my dad through a lot. She stayed with him so her kids could have a father, and I know she has regretted it ever since I was young. He was abusive towards me and an alcoholic, great Father of the Year candidate. I've clearly never had a good relationship with him, but my brother did. He looked up to him, admired him, and wanted to be a man he could be proud of. He even defended my dad regarding this. Unfortunately, his view has been forced to change. I don't know what to do. I'm sick. My brother and this girl broke up on bad terms, and it's clear she did this just to hurt him, and she got my dad to help her. When they were together, my mom welcomed this girl into our home, and continued to keep in touch and stay on good terms with her. The fact that she used my father to hurt our brother, knowing it would always affect someone who has always been kind to her, infuriates me. He was just a tool and he entered this relationship knowing that. My mom is the strongest woman I've ever known. She's a cancer survivor and has done everything for our family, given everything up, just to see my brother and I leave as happy and healthy a life as we possibly can. To see her suffering over this is breaking my heart. To see my brother's world crashing around him is one of the most haunting things I've ever seen. We haven't spoken to our dad, he won't talk to us. He won't talk to my brother specifically. I've managed to speak to him for around 10 minutes total in the past few days. I caught him in yet another lie regarding this situation and he hasn't spoken to me since. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help my family. We can't tell my grandma, my mom's mom, this would break her heart. My mom and I aren't surprised he cheated, that's the kind of man my father is, and it's disgusting as is, but I doubt that can be changed. We just never thought he would go so low. I'm doing everything I can to recover the deleted texts, and more. He knows he slipped up and admitted it, and he thinks he can gaslight us into thinking he never did. He's going to do everything he can to manipulate this situation however he can so he can somehow be seen in a better light. Please, if anyone has any advice on how to best help and support each other through this, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and I'm sorry this was so long. TL, DR. My dad has been cheating on my mom with my brother's ex. Update. I spoke to her yesterday. Almost 2 months ago we confirmed my dad has been cheating on my mom with my brother's ex. Yesterday, I sat down spoke with her on the phone for half an hour. A lot has happened in the past 2 months. The other day, we found her in our apartment and she got physical with my mom when she told her to leave and tried to usher her out the door. My mom has bruises and he just let it happen. I asked her a lot of questions, caught her in a lot of lies, but I didn't press on them. I just listened. As expected, she confirmed that this is revenge against my family, though unintentionally. I never brought up my brother, but she repeatedly did and it definitely made her intentions clear. I told her I don't hate her. That I'm not angry with her, and I meant it. At least in regards to this situation. I'm freaking furious she put her hands on my mother, but regarding her relationship with my dad, I'm not angry with her. Because he's the one who had a family. He's the one who should have done better because of that. My dad panicked when my mom let it slip that I spoke to her. He wants to forbid all contact, and I wasn't planning on speaking to her again regardless. I asked her if she wanted to talk, she said yes and called me the next day. Had she said no, I would have left it and her alone. I've had her new phone number for weeks, and I haven't done anything or called it because I know it's not worth it. I told him if he demands us to respect his relationship with her, then he should respect our civility and allow this. He's just going to cause more hurt by making a big deal about it. When this all started, my mom asked me to write my dad a letter, and it took me a month to sort out everything I wanted to say, but I finally sent it to him. And he immediately brushed it off and tried to minimize everything. It wasn't just about this situation, it was about a lot of hurt he's caused over the years, and I know he doesn't like to own up to what he's done, and I expected it. But I asked him to sit down and talk to me about it, because if he cares like he says he does, it should be no problem. He refused to, as I expected to. It just makes me really sad to think that I was able to have a civil conversation with the woman who has had such a key role in hurting my family before I was able to sit down and have a conversation with my father, simply because he doesn't care to. Frankly, I respect her more than I respect him for that. I don't know what I'm doing really, I feel more at peace now, but I'm still angry and hurt. I'm trying to support my mom, grandma and brother as much as I can, but I had to just let this out somewhere. If you read this, thank you for taking the time to do so. Edit. Forgot to say, but just want to mention I was not there when things got physical. Had I been there, the second that cretin put her hands on my mother, I would have picked her up and literally thrown her out. The apartment where this happened is not where my parents currently live, but an apartment they sublet. My brother's ex used to be a tenant, but moved out when her relationship with my father was confirmed. Just forgot to update that point from my original post. I caught my dad with my girlfriend. What do I do? I've had my girlfriend for 2 years now, practically lives with me, small white, petite thing, cooks for me, always been good to me. I go away on holiday for a week, come back and something just doesn't seem right. I asked my dad if he had seen anything happen with my girlfriend and he acts clueless. So fast forward to 3 weeks later. I'm coming home from work when bam, clear as day, right in my kitchen I catch my father red-handed with his meat in my GF. I was pissed, told him to get his meat out of GF and get the hell out. Needless to say my GF got turned off. I just couldn't get over it and that night kicked my GF to the curb. Now it's been 2 weeks since the incident and that I've been without my GF. And about 10 minutes ago my dad had the audacity to ask me how my GF has been, when he's the damn reason we ain't together no more. Should I get off the computer and start swinging at him? Or pack my stuff and be on my way?